Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to another Java tutorial in our Java tutorial series. And in this tutorial, we are going to be covering hash sets and linked hash sets. In our previous tutorial, we covered linked lists and we also covered the array list. So we're going to continue that trend with hash set and linked hash set. And we're also going to briefly discuss the set interface as well, because each of these will inherit from that. At some point or another in their inheritance hierarchy. So, as you can see, I have a few key points here for each of these data structures. So, let's get into it. So, in terms of the hash set, the most important things about a hash set is that hash sets can only store unique elements, right? So, you can't say have a string where it says hello and then another string that says hello. It has to be unique. So, if you try to add a duplicate element, it'll just keep the already existing element, and it won't add any duplicates. Now, with a hash set, items are stored using a method called hashing, and hashing has to do with what the hash code is and all that kind of stuff. It's a different kind of process of storing data than you would with a list or a linked list. A hash set also allows null values. So you can have a null value stored and it won't bitch and complain at you. Now, the hash set class is not synchronized, so keep that in mind. The hash set class, hash sets as a collection, they don't maintain the order in which you inserted them into the set. The order that it maintains is they are inserted based on what the object's hash code is. And if you don't know what a hash code is essentially something that represents the address in memory that the object is stored in. Hash sets are best for search operations, so you can search through them pretty quickly and efficiently. And finally, like the array list and linked list, they have a default capacity, and that default capacity is 16 elements. But also, like lists, it will dynamically expand if you go past that, which is nice. It's not like an array where it's static and everything. So that is a hash set. So again, keep in mind that lists can and do allow for duplicate elements. So you can have two strings that say hello, or two integers that have the value of 2, that sort of thing. Whereas sets, like a hash set, specifically a hash set, can only have unique values. It can't have duplicates. In fact, it won't let you have duplicates if you try. So next, we're going to move on to the linked hash set, and after we go over hash set, at least what it can do, we're gonna go in and show you some of the features of these. We're gonna add elements, we're gonna clear elements, we're gonna remove elements. We're gonna do a lot of things with these, so you can kind of have an idea of how you create those objects and how you manipulate them. So with a linked hash set, a linked hash set, like a hash set, only allows for unique elements, right? And a linked hash set will also provide all the optional set operations, as well as permits null values, so you can have a null value stored in this as well. Like the hash set, the linked hash set is not synchronous. It's not synchronized. So when we talk about when we go into synchronization, you'll kind of understand what that exactly means. And the linked hash set will maintain whatever the insertion order was. So it won't order them based on the hash code or any of that stuff, right? So with that being said, let's go ahead and learn how we use these things. So, like we defined our array list and our linked list, we are going to use the set. We're going to use set to define our objects here. So set. We're going to call this. Hash set, and then we're going to set it equal to a new hash set, and now we need to provide it with what kind of type we want to store in this hash set. Let's say we want to store, I don't know, strings, right? And now we have a hash set that can take in strings. And we can go ahead and attach string to that as well. And go ahead and do Control-Shift-O. What will happen is if we go all the way up here to our import statements, you can see java.util.hashset and java.util.set. Now keep in mind, set is the interface that things like the linked hash set and the set will inherit from. So if we hover over it, you can see it is an interface. And a set is basically defined as a collection that contains no duplicate elements. More formally, sets contain no pair of elements. So you can keep on reading that if you so desire, but we're gonna move on to the linked hash set. So set, we're gonna say this is going to be full of integers. We'll say linked hash set is equal to a new linked hash set, and this is also going to be integer here. However, keep in mind that in Java 8, you don't have to put the type. You don't have to put the type at the end if you don't want to, or at the beginning if you don't want to. I just do it this way because it's more readable that way. And that way I don't get confused, if at all. All right, so let's go ahead then and import linked hash set. There we go. So now we have a hash set and a linked hash set. So let's go ahead and we'll say hash set dot. And you can see we get a lot of different methods here. We're going to focus on add, remove, clear, and contains. All right, so here we can add an element. We're going to say hello. Let's try to add a duplicate hello, right? Just so you can see when we loop through this, which we're going to do, that it's not going to take in a duplicate value. It's only going to have one of it. So we have that, and hash set dot add, we'll say hello comma world. That way that one is also unique. So right here, this may look like, oh, we're going to have 3 elements. Yeah, not so much. We're only going to have 2. And you'll see that here in a second. So let's loop through all the items in our hash set. So for every string s inside of hash set, we can go system out println s. And so with that, let's go ahead and run this. And you can see down here in our console, we only have hello and hello world. That's it. We don't have 2 hellos because, again, you can't have duplicate values. Now, what will happen, right, if I say hash set dot remove and inside of here we'll say we want to remove hello. Right, so we can go ahead and save this and run it. All right. Now you can see we only have hello world. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of remove, and we're going to then afterward, after the for loop here, we're going to say hash set dot clear, and then we will copy paste the for loop, and in that second for loop we should see nothing. Well, in fact, to make this point, we can also get the size of our set. So we'll say if hash set dot size, so we get the size, is if it's greater than 0, then we want to loop through all of our items. Otherwise, we'll say system out println the set is empty numbnuts. Just like that. So we'll go ahead and save it, and run it. Now you can see we get hello world, and then it clears, and then we get the set is empty, numbnuts. Because when we clear the set, obviously it's going to be completely cleared out. There's no longer going to be elements inside of it. Now, what will happen if we do the same thing, but instead of with HashSet, we say LinkedHashSet? What will happen then? Well, let's take a look. So LinkedHashSet, LinkedHashSet, and then LinkedHashSet. LinkedHashSet like that. And then LinkedHashSet there. And then in here we also want LinkedHashSet. So, with that being said, go ahead and save your code and run it. Now, if it doesn't run and you get a bunch of errors, let's take a look and see what they are. Yes, LinkedHashSet. The method add. So, because this, of course, takes an integer, we need to give it some integers. So, we'll say 1, 1, 3, and then we're going to add another one, add 8. So we have 1, 1, 3, 8. All right. So with that, then, we want to change this to int. Every int from LinkedHashSet, just like so. And then we also want to change it down here. So int I LinkedHashSet, and then change that to I. There we go. Perfect. And so with that, go ahead and save it and run it. You can see we get 1, 3, and 8 because we can't have duplicate values. It clears everything. And then it says the set is empty, numbnuts, because we cleared it and we tested to see what the size of it was. If it was greater than 0, we would loop. If it wasn't, then we would say the set's empty. So that is basically how you go about using set, HashSet, and LinkedHashSet. So thank you all so very much for watching, and we will see you all in the next one. See ya.